Do we need this comic? Why? 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 I'm gonna be kind of quick with this one because I just don't want to think about this comic any longer than I have to. If you don't know who the Sentry is, he's basically Marvel's version of Superman, but he wears all yellow all the time, so his costume looks really dumb, and he's got like multiple personality disorders, so half the time he's a superhero and half the time he's like the super bad supervillain called the Void, and he has a hard time balancing it out. And there really haven't been very many good series about the Sentry, like ever. One notable exception to that is this series of New Avengers by Bendis, where he's got David Finch on art, and the Sentry is actually interesting, probably because there's a good writer writing him. Whereas in this issue, I don't even know where to start. I just don't like this. It's really boring. I barely care about the Sentry on a good day, right? So I kind of didn't have high expectations going into this issue, but man, it's not good. All the dialogue is so boring and so flat and so to the point. There's not a lot of human element to the dialogue. It's just get the point across and move on. There's a lot going on in this issue. They're setting up a lot of threads, but we don't see any Sentry. Like, the character Sentry is not in this issue, which, you know, it's a mystery. They're trying to pique our interest, but my interest is not piqued. And it's also just not that interesting to look at. It's got this boring, flat art that seems like it's becoming the norm for Marvel Comics. They have this like in-house style that's supposed to be the new modern comic look, but it just isn't a style. It's just flat and boring. There's no depth to it. There's no interesting details to it. It feels like the artist just has to pump out these comics as fast as they can so that they can publish them 2 months ahead of schedule. This is supposed to come out in February. Maybe if they'd actually waited until February, the artist could have taken his time and made something really cool. But no! I know that Luigi Zagaria has some good art. I've seen some good art by this guy. It just feels like he didn't have the time to do it here, which is a real bummer because the issue could have used it. I haven't read anything by Jason Loo, who wrote this issue, but he's been at Marvel for a little while now. He's done a few stories here and there. It seems like he's working his way up. But man, this issue is boring. It starts with a scene between Jessica Jones and Luke Cage that's semi-interesting, and the dialogue seems pretty fresh. It's not like, it doesn't make me all that interested in where the story is going. It just feels like, hey, here's some characters you know doing stuff. Ugh. But at least it's better than the rest of the issue. And there's some stuff that happens that I don't really care about. And then, it mentions this girl's roommate, Mallory Gibbs, who has cerebral palsy. And then we get this montage of this character going through her daily life with cerebral palsy and seeing all the ways that she can be overlooked and how there are barriers in front of her that aren't there for other people. And even when there's not supposed to be a barrier there ends up being a barrier there because people aren't respecting her needs. And that whole montage feels pretty natural. That's honestly a good montage. Good job. And then we got some TikTok, who's gotta have TikTok, so the kids like the comic, we gotta be referencing TikTok, because social media is the most important thing on the planet. I hate TikTok so much, but it's okay, it doesn't ruin the issue for me. And then there's a scene where she gets some powers, and that's, I don't know, kind of par for the course. It's not interesting, it's not fresh, it's not new, it's just, okay, this happened. Now we know what happened. Some more scenes I don't care about with flat dialogue and nothing interesting happening. And then we get the second montage with a mutant character, and I care way less about this montage than the other one, okay? It just doesn't feel as well done. There's this moment when he's riding by on his bicycle because he works for DoorDash, or DoorDish as it's called in this comic to avoid copyright, whatever. And he rides his bike past these girls, and the one girl is like, I like your boots, but why are they so big though? And then it just cuts to him thinking, I'm so tired of people talking about how I look. And he's just, I mean, for one thing, who the heck is gonna try to start a conversation with a guy who is clearly on a mission on his bicycle? Like, you can compliment his boots and move on with your life, right? But she's like starting a conversation and doing it kind of rudely as well. It's just that does that happen? Do I just not see this part of the world where somebody would do that? And it's just funny because, you know, she's probably not trying to be rude. She's probably genuinely interested. And he's over here being Batman, like, everybody's so mean to me all the time. It's just funny, and it doesn't feel natural. What is funny is this other guy pressing a big red button that says no tip on his phone. That's hilarious. And then, I don't know, we're supposed to be building sympathy for him, but I just don't really get any. And then we meet this really boring racist kid who hates mutants, and he's like power hungry, and he fights the delivery man. And it's a really boring fight, honestly. It's just not interesting to read. There's one good line where the delivery man says, time to punch a bigot! And that's kind of cool, like, and he goes and punches him in the face, and that's very Captain America punching Hitler kind of moment. But then he follows it up with doing this gross, like, karate kick in a pose that doesn't make any sense, and he says, I'm finally putting my legs to good use. Nobody says that during a fight. Not if you want to be taken seriously. It's just, this doesn't feel like real characters having a real fight. This feels like, and then there was a fight between these characters, and this is the outcome that happened, and they said these things. You might as well just give me a Cliff's Notes. It's not interesting to read in full detail. And then the cliffhanger is so vague. I don't even know what's gonna happen next, and I don't care about what's gonna happen next, and it's so boring. Who are these ghosty looking people supposed to be? Is she thinking of people that she could have become? Is she thinking of family members? Are these people who are gonna also end up with Sentry powers? Because that's what's happening. Everybody's getting Sentry powers, and we're just seeing like a foreshadow of who else is gonna get Sentry powers. I don't know. I don't know what's going on the last page. And I don't really care either. So this is like a 4 out of 10. It's just not good. It's not interesting. I don't want to buy the rest of the series. I don't know why they're doing this series. Is the Sentry going to be in a movie soon or something? I don't know. I feel like nobody really cares about the Sentry because he just hasn't been treated very well. He doesn't do anything interesting. So why do we care? Yeah, I don't know. If it was an indie comic, I'd tell you to go out and buy it anyway because we gotta support creators, but this just feels like supporting blatant capitalism. Like, it's not good. This isn't good art. It doesn't have an interesting story. It doesn't have interesting characters. It's not pacing itself well enough for us to be interested in the characters it does have. I wouldn't buy it if I were you. Come on, Marvel! I love you, Marvel! You can do better! This is so bad! Please make good Marvel comics so that I can review good Marvel comics. 4 out of 10. What do you think? I don't have any questions today. I'm late for work. See you next time.